we're bringing you all you need to succeed in the real estate business. It's Spilling the LT, brought to you by Lawyers Title, telling you what it's really like to work in real estate.
Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about building your real estate business and the lifetime value of a client. But first, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede, Director of Collin County Sales for Lawyers Title. If you like our discussion today, well, you're going to love my escrow team. So I hope you'll give us an opportunity to earn your business. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, but we'll also make sure that you know how to reach me via text or phone call or email or any other way that you want to try to get a hold of me today. I'm very excited to have some guests on our show today. Steven and Lena McCoy are husband and wife power duo with the Real McCoy team at RE/MAX. The office is in McKinney. Yes. They have been in the business for over 20 years, and they've closed about $25 million in production last year. So they had some really big numbers, and that resulted in their very first Chairman's Club RE/MAX award. So, and one of the other things that I find really interesting about them is that they have done over 100 transactions with investments and flipping homes themselves. So I've got some synergy with them in that arena because I'm also an investor. And so we have some really good conversations about that, but also traditional real estate. So I'd like to welcome them to the show today. Steven and Lena, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
So excited that you're here. Thank you for being great partners of ours, but also our friends. So we really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the loyalty to me and my team.
Absolutely. Of course. Absolutely. Thank you guys for everything you do as well.
So I'm one of those that wants to dive right in. Let's talk about the meat. Okay. But let's start a little bit with your background first. Okay. Cool. So do you guys want to talk about how you got here?
Sure. You want to go first?
Well, no, you go first.
Oh, no, you go first.
After you go first.
Okay. So basically started in East Texas and Tyler, Texas, where I'm from. And ultimately started with the lawn business way back when, worked for a builder during the build process. Once the home was completed, I would knock on that door and be there to prospect and say, can I take over this account and mow the yard because I've been maintaining it during the whole construction process.
Wait, how old were you when you did that?
15 years old.
You were an entrepreneur at 15. Yeah. Okay, there's stories like this on Shark Tank, right? Where Mark Cuban's in the background clapping because somebody started a great business.
That's him.
Well, there's more to that story. And basically, Brian Conaway in East Texas was still is a huge role model of mine. And ultimately going to the dirt track where I used to go with my family growing up. And Lena always says that was many years ago, but I was a race car driver and ultimately following through with my dreams and hopes of being a true race car driver.
I didn't know this
I
about
used to race dirt cars. So,
so
Brian had a lawn business, and basically I was 15 years old. I had a hardship license, and I had a 70 model C10 truck. So all that means is that it was a huge gas guzzler and that I would ask my mom for cash. I'd be like, can I have some gas money, please? Can I have some gas money? And Leanna knows this like yesterday because I always bring this up. And it's ultimately my mom said, give me died, which meant I'm no longer.
What?
Give me
$5.
Oh, okay.
Give me $5 for gas, died. So you need to go figure it out and make money on your own. So Doug Burns introduced me to Brian, started mowing yards. And I say that only because that's how my new home sales career started, is because the builder that I worked for mowing yards ultimately ended up giving me my first opportunity to sell new homes in East Texas. And it wasn't anything special. They put me in a builder trailer in the middle of a field. And I had 4 neighborhoods starting back then at $90,000. And then we had our upper end product. Rosebrook started $350.
Oh, how times have changed.
That was $350. That was big time. So that's really how I got started. Conaway gave me a 3-ring binder by Bob Schultz that's called the New Home Sales Specialist. And they gave me a pat on the back and said, go get them.
Good luck.
That was it. So that's how I got my start in new home sales. And then transitioned to residential real estate. Me and Lena moved to DFW in 05, 06 time. We got married in 06. And from there, I kept trying to get my start here as a new home sales rep. Went on to work at several builders around DFW. and found that ultimately realtors would show up with their client and they would introduce them to me, the new home sales guy, and then I'd never see them again. And they drove amazing new cars, and I thought they made all this money.
And they didn't do anything.
And they didn't do anything, right? And so I was like, how do I get on the other side of this desk and get out of this new home sales business where I'm working 10 to 6, 5 days a week?
Yeah.
I didn't know that real estate agents work 24/7. And you spend 90% of your time procuring the client, the actual getting the client to do business with. Because guess what? You already know this. After you get out of Champions or whatever real estate place you go to, you get your license. You don't all of a sudden get all these phone calls. Hey, please sell me a home. Please be my realtor.
You
know, it was
and what do you actually know about real estate once you graduate real estate school?
Oh my goodness!
Basically, how to write a contract, barely.
Barely.
So that's kind of my start into the business, and Lena and I, we've been doing this a long time. Started in new home sales, and then to residential resale, and then when the market crashed, to your point about flipping 100 homes, we had to get creative.
Pivot.
And like last year that was popular, but during the crash, it wasn't so popular. It was more like survival.
Yeah.
It wasn't these fancy terms and deferment on all your payments. If things hit the fan, it was foreclosure and people were being evicted or kicked out on the street.
Super sad
And we started working with investors and quickly, just like the new home sales role, I was like, how are they flipping these homes? So a guy named John introduced me to his whole team, the hard money lender, the contractor, all the people in the process. And I simply just plugged into their system and started procuring my own leads that I was already doing and finding those homes and started flipping them.
Yeah.
And we did our first flip, and we thought we were
big time.
Big time. Actually, I learned very quickly you want to hire people to do the work because when you do the work yourself, you're not taking the phone calls, you're missing opportunities. And I found myself out there rolling paint on the wall instead of taking phone calls. And we quickly realized that we need to budget better to afford the true experts to do the work.
And I think that's something that, because I'm an investor too, which you guys know, and I just did a big reno project on a lovely piece of property I bought. It wasn't lovely at the time. It is now.
Nice.
And, I struggle with this all the time because, and this is kind of off topic, but we'll circle back. I've got a lot of my realtor clients trying to talk to me about short-term rentals right now because everybody's making buttloads of cash off the short-term rental. But when you have a more than full-time job and I manage my own household and I've got investment properties and, you've got all the things, at some point, you do kind of have to make that decision about where you're going to put your time and your resources and what is a good placement for that, right? And you guys are married. You've got a wonderful daughter. She's gorgeous, by the way. And, you enjoy working your real estate business and traveling and spending time with her. And so I think those are struggles that people in this business, people outside of this business maybe don't understand as much, is that it isn't you buy a house, and then you're all of a sudden it's pretty and you turn it around, right? There's a lot that goes into when you buy it to when you list it or rent it or whatever else is you're going to do with it.
And it's not an HGTV.
And no, it's not.
In real life. And that's what I think we got hung up on and watched quite a bit of the shows. And we're like, we got this. We can do it. So we went out and we did try to paint ourselves. We did try to pull the carpet and replace it ourselves. And, get some of these... what we thought was a good idea. Let's do it ourselves. Let's make this our baby. Boy, was that exhausting. And we pulled all the sources. My dad came in town that time. I remember he helped us. He hammered some of the walls and did some plumbing and this and that. And
even Alexa's demoed some homes with us.
Has she really?
Yeah, I mean, we have some old video of that.
Right. But it all sounds good in theory. But once you actually go through the process and you realize how much time you've invested and efforts and you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm behind on all of my old traditional stuff and my clients and retention and just, all the other things that get backed up. We're like, nope.
Well, the reality shows make it look so easy, right? You've got $1 million listing that is making every realtor look like they don't have to do much to sell. And they just walk around in these fabulous clothes and show these fabulous homes all the time. Little does the consumer know you're trudging around sometimes in a $250,000 house that hadn't been touched in 40 years,
Right.
So it's the HGTV generation and the reality TV generation that's made a lot of this stuff look super sexy and super easy. But the house that I bought in the Colony, my contractors were able to turn it in less than 30 days, full reno.
Wow.
Nice. No way. Well, first of all, I don't even know how to do that stuff. But so it would have taken, of course, infinitely longer. But, sometimes you kind of have to make that decision about where you're going to put resources and what makes more sense, Sure. And so managing a real estate business, I really feel for you guys, because I feel like in this market, the consumer thinks that you stick a sign in the yard, you've got a contract, you don't have to do anything. Why do you deserve 3%?
Exactly. 6%. Come on,
6%. Well, okay, 6%, but 3% to each side, right? And so, I'm a licensed realtor. I'm the most educated realtor that's never practiced, by the way. I have 3 designations and I've never done a transaction, but I would never compete with my clients. But, I think that when I purchase my properties, I always use a realtor. I fully see the value in what you do. And I think that is undervalued by the normal outside of the real estate industry consumer. And so I understand the struggle that you guys are having to go through all the time to justify your commission and justify what you do every day. And so it's not easy, guys.
No, it's not easy. No, and 99% of the time, you're going to go up against many, and that's kind of the whole derivative of our conversation today, the lifetime value of a client, and looking back to your database and your what we call a power base, which is your friend circle, your outer friend layers, and those rings as you go further out to the don't know, the people who don't know you are going to hit you on commission. You're going to pay a lot of money to procure that lead, whether it's a mailer, online advertising. We all know the chase rate. You got to chase. And then once you finally get the client, then they want to discount your fees. Right? The online lead is what I'm referring to.
But I think there's a lot of people that are asking for discounts these days, not just the online lead. And so you guys are having to battle that kind of stuff. But, I think you guys work a lot with your sphere and work by referral. And I have several clients right now that operate that way and have for years, and that's how they built their business. And everybody's hair was on fire for 2 years, and now the market is extremely tight, and trying to get, something under contract is extremely hard. And so I'm having a few sad conversations with some of our clients that just don't have anything in the pipeline right now, but somehow you two are managing to keep it rolling down the road. And so I wanted you guys to share some of, let's talk about how you guys manage your leads and conversion and and your sphere and keep referrals coming in the door, right?
But real quick, we want to touch on Lena and how she got into the business, because I think the flips we kind of skipped over.
I'm so sorry, Lena.
We went into the flips.
I was like,
I'm a terrible host. I didn't even flip it to you.
So the flipping homes, whenever we were flipping all these homes, let's say I would go on a sign call and I would go out and I would make the offer and buy the home. Where there's a contract to close process, Lena was heavily involved in that from the very beginning. But not only that, after we contracted it, every time you buy a home, obviously you got to set up utilities. That was taking me hours at a time. And no, we weren't partnered with utility concierge back then. But I'll tell you, Gabe's awesome guy. And, but ultimately, but utility concierge and all those third-party vendors, they're looking for clients who are end users, not necessarily a flipper who's going to be turn it on, turn it off in 3 months, right? So with that being said, Lena jumped in, all in, helping get all the utilities set up and turned off on all those homes. And then as I got busier and busier, she got her license to start doing open houses, and so that we could.
Well, let me just.
I'll time out.
Let me just start by saying that I had no interest whatsoever getting the license. I love the process. I've been a part of it for many, many years, and I loved what he was doing, but I was kind of behind the scene, you know, and doing all the administrative stuff. And once in a while I would be on the phone with the clients, and obviously we knew the families and the relationships that we've established. They knew us, that we worked together, but I didn't think that I was going to actually go out and be a salesperson per se. And then at some point we just realized that we needed the manpower. We needed the extra hand in having to help us with the buyer clients and open houses and showing homes here and there, because we were so caught up into our investment portfolio that, you know, our traditional business started to slag. Yeah. So at that point, we discussed hiring people and adding to the team. And I said, well, wait a minute, if I'm going to do all the hiring process and training, why don't I go out and get my license?
Do it yourself.
Yeah. And start that way. And then we can add layers to that. And that's exactly what I did. That same day I went online and I registered and I ordered the books. And within 2 months I was a licensed realtor, and I was like, many of the realtors, I was like, wow, I'm here now. So what do I do? Now what? And sure enough, it didn't work out as a fantasy as I thought that it would, and didn't kick off as quickly as I wanted it to. But I am so glad I stuck around. And there were times that I didn't think that it was going to be my jam, and maybe I should just go back to doing what I was doing, you know, behind the curtain and doing all the administrative stuff instead of getting out in front of the people and being in the field and generating the leads and working with clients directly. But I think God had a bigger plan for me. So I'm glad I stuck it out. And, you know, we supported each other throughout this time. And sure enough, one by one and many by many now, we have generated our pipeline. And here we are now. And we don't take that lightly at all. All of our clients, all of our leads, the families that are on their 6th, 7th, 8th home with us, we don't take that lightly.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge,
and I also think, you know, kind of
deal.
what makes you two such the dynamic duo is you're very much the yin to each other's yang, right? And so, you know, your personalities between the two of you, you know, speak to a very wide a variety of people. You know, you have this softness about you, Leanna, and a sweetness about you. I know you still are very business savvy, but you know, you just have this warmth about you. And Steven, you come in with super big knowledge and definitely the confident, you know, the powered part of the team. And so I think between the two of you, it makes a really big dynamic duo. And I think that also, that and the care that you have with your clients, I really resonate with, because I feel like I try as hard as I can every day to make sure our clients feel the way you want your clients to feel. And so that's why I wanted you guys to come on the show today, because I knew that that's how, you know, we have synergy in how we build our businesses in that way. And so let's talk about, what does a customer mean to you? You know, that's kind of an interesting question, right?
Right.
I mean,
it means ATM. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, that's an honest. There is, of course, we're here because we need to be able to feed our families and pay our bills and that sort of thing. So, but if you've had someone come and use you in a transaction 7 or 8 times, there's definitely something to how you care for your clients, right?
Right.
So ultimately, I'll take it from here and just say that, you know, we have a philosophy, and that's love the one you're with. And we feel that that philosophy is not only true within our relationship, but it's also the person in front of you is offering you that opportunity to work with them. And for that, we see it through contract to close, and then go beyond that and continue on following up and being in front of them and being a resource, whether it's you know, for a maintenance call or stuff that doesn't even pertain to real estate. It could be, you know, well, I guess property taxes do pertain, but that's not our arena, right? But we'll step back and help them and get their homestead exemption, help them fight down their taxes. I don't think we'll be able to help this year, but you know, in the years past, that was a benefit. And you know, I'll just say that, you know, from the time that we meet someone, if they're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for them, then we'll do whatever we can to help them. And some people are there for themselves. And like I was talking about before, jokingly about the ATM, people that are in this business for the money will not be in the business very long.
Agreed.
It's 110% commitment is where we come from.
Yep.
And that's how we run our business, and we're all in. We don't, you know, we're not dabbling in a lot of things outside of real estate. Everything that we do is under the umbrella. So if it's flipping a home, that's still real estate. I'm a licensed lender now, so that's still real estate. We're not going to open a shop tomorrow to sell bicycles. You know, we're staying within our arena of real estate, and we're all in on that. So, and our clients see that from day one. And another thing that I want to touch on is that we'll help somebody, whether it's a $70,000 property or if it's last year $4 million, $4.2 million, 22,000 square foot building in downtown that Leanna and I worked on to help an NFL client. Nobody would touch that deal because of our relationship with the hard money lender. Through all those flips that we've done, we were able to put those two together. And that hard money lender doesn't loan on commercial property. They went on my introduction to that person. Of course, they put down 50%, but no other lender. We got 6 months into the process and it was denied over and over again. So many times I ended up having to go to the doctor with migraines because it was just so much stress. It took me 6 months to close there. It took us 6 months to close it. And every day it was a bust. Mm-hmm. And we saw it through. But that client, since 2007 or 8, when I met one of the business partners in that purchase, since I met him, he sent, I can't even tell you, probably 20 plus referrals over the years. So there's no way I was going to give up. Yeah. Including his mom, including everybody he knows. There's no question. He just says, call my guy.
Yeah.
And it comes back to like, after that property was even closed, like a month later, he called Steven and he said, hey, we need help with CO. Well, CO, certificate of occupancy, is really outside of our jurisdiction, but we didn't just drop the ball. We always think of ways how we can bring the value to our client. It doesn't matter if it's within our power or within our circle. We'll go out and we'll get the answers. We'll find out. We'll make the calls. We have enough knowledge and enough resources that we can find a way, no matter what it is. Like, there is nothing that's off limits for us.
And I think that's where I draw a lot of synergy with you guys too, because I do a lot of connections as well. I don't always have the answer for my client, and that's okay. Yeah. I learned a long time ago, I don't have to always have the answer for my client, right? Yes. And if I did it, it's you can't be an expert in all things, right? But if you've been doing this for a while, you've recognized where you need to build networking connections and be able to have resources, whether it be an attorney or, anything else for that matter.
A plumber. I mean, we get calls after the home closes, who do we need to use for alarm? Well, here are your options. Like we have all that, all that data, so we can easily plug in and just refer them. And that just comes from years of experience. That does not come with, just us Googling the information and just getting somebody, to them. We don't refer anyone unless we're confident that.
No, of course, because that's your name behind the referral.
Correct.
And we've won. I mean, we've been building our wholesale and investor business for a good almost 2 years now. And, a lot of the stuff in that world is very complicated. And there's a lot of title companies that can't close those type of transactions. We've worked through all the bumps in the road so that we can figure out how to close it, right? And that that being able to close that unclosable deal has turned into a solid relationship, which turns into referrals, which turns into more business, which turns into, it's just like a domino effect. So I think problem solving, being a problem solver, being able to see the challenge and figure out what the solution is a huge value to your clients. And that's part of the reason that we're able to keep our referral business coming in the door, right?
I agree.
So if you just say, I don't know, good luck.
Yeah. Sorry, can't help you here.
Can't help you, So being that resource and being able to have the database of connections, vetted connections, right, is a kind of a big deal to keeping somebody. Sure.
Absolutely.
I think let's talk about how you do market to your sphere and how do you stay top of mind with your clients that aren't in the middle of a transaction, because that's a big deal too.
Right. So, Leanna, you can cover a couple of those, and then I'll jump into the rest. Yeah.
Because you have your favorites and I have my favorites. Yeah. So we do separate things.
Her favorites are more. Go ahead. I'll let you cover.
Well, the difference is that we do different things, but we go towards the same goal. So at the end of the day, we check each other and we kind of see where we stand and, how close are we getting to our goal and, our business goal or our personal goal or whatever it is. So with the clients, I typically do a number of things, and the thing in this is the consistency.
Of course it is. Yeah,
you
got to stay
be
top
consistent.
of mind.
Yes, and so we have a newsletter. We have social media.
How often does the newsletter go out?
So it's once a month.
Okay, and is that by mail or is it electronic?
It's electronic.
Okay.
I do electronic. We do annual mailers, usually like a Christmas or Thanksgiving cards. We do customer appreciation events where we invite all of our database. And here's the thing. A lot of times realtors think, like new realtors or even seasoned realtors think that they have to have this enormous database of clients to be able to do any of those things. And you really don't. This is where all your clients are.
Right.
It could be 20 people, it could be 100 people, it could be 150. It doesn't matter. So you have to just hyper focus on people that you've built connection or had connection before, and people who know, like, and trust you, and you can build it from there. And it's very easy. If they're in your phone, that means you've made a connection with them. At some point, you've built a relationship, you've had business with them. So focus on those people. For me, I don't do cold calling. So for me, it's very difficult to, reach out to someone I haven't met before. And so that's kind of where we differ. But what I do with our clients that are past clients is, with the newsletter, the social media post outreach, that could include serious things, happy birthday. And I try to do different things where it could be a post on their Facebook, it could be a text message, so it's a little bit more personal, messenger invites, or sharing data information about events, maybe happy anniversary, or just all different angles.
All those touches throughout the year. So let's kind of break this apart a little bit, okay? Because we're talking pretty broad right now.
Sure.
So what you've mentioned are regular touches to your database throughout the year, social media posts, happy birthday, happy anniversary, client events, newsletter, regular email, informational emails, maybe how to fight your taxes or what, CMA or whatever it is. Do you have a schedule for how you send these things out, or a schedule of how often you do a client event, or where you might have it? So can we talk about kind of the meat of each one of those things a little bit? Because I think it's an important touch point. And talking about consistency means you have to be doing this at certain times throughout the year, right? So absolutely. Can you kind of break that apart a little bit?
Yeah, so of course we have a schedule, and we try to stay within that schedule. And sometimes it could be a day or two here and there, but it is very important to just go ahead and get it done.
How often do you touch each person?
Each
throughout
person,
the year, in a year span, okay?
It differs really because, like I said, what I do, with social media and, electronic touches, then Steven can pick up, and every other month he could pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
Or, we're in the area, we could actually stop by and knock on their door. So each client is different, but we do try to make it a point to reach out to every one of them. And it could be a random thing. Hey, we talked about, certain furniture piece, and then we came across it and we're like, oh, took a picture and sent it to them. So it's not just all real estate related.
Right. Yeah.
It's what is it? Ford, right? We talk about Ford.
So a little to unpack that a little bit. So using that newsletter that's through, everyone has their own company website, if you will. So within different companies, like ours is Remax, right? So Bouge has, a template, just a traditional newsletter. Look, guys, we're not trying to get them to read it. It's just simply seeing your name and thinking of you. Okay?
Of course.
So it doesn't matter what it says. Yep. It's just getting it in front of them. So don't get analysis paralysis and need this perfect newsletter. Nobody's going to read it. So it's just simply getting it through their email. So that would be monthly. And then to Lena's point, the pie event, the customer appreciation, that's obviously in Thanksgiving. Last year, Lena took that initiative and made that her own and really made it really nice. We took pies from Costco and then she added her.
No,
they weren't from
didn't.
Costco.
They were not from Costco.
No, they were Norma's. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
That
they
is
were
a really
Norma's.
That's a big difference.
My
It's
bad.
huge.
See,
I was fixing to say,
I
if
didn't
you
do
want
it.
a Norma's pie, you
I
better
didn't
be a
make it.
I
McCoy
know.
client.
We talked about,
apologize.
should we go with trout? And
Yeah, you're right.
Like
It
we
was
did.
Norma's famous pie.
Yes.
Now I stand corrected. See, that's why there's yin and yang, right? So, okay, so then birthday is obviously, it's when their birthday is, that's yearly, right? So,
Yeah.
So to unpack that, it's monthly newsletter,
Okay.
Annual customer appreciation.
Got it.
And then take that a step further, look for their birthday, look for them on social media. You should always have your database or obviously your friends, your real friends on Facebook, including all the unknowns that are friends. But we won't go there. That's a whole nother topic. So that's pretty much texting them. Leanna has more a personal touch with her clients. So on my side, it's more like automation, like just doing like a slide broadcast, doing that at least once per quarter. In addition to that, mixing it up with like Lion's Desk to drop a mass text, whether that's a video text or just simply a text message, right? And just getting in front of them. And then the phone call. So Leanna was still on my thunder with Ford. So
Ford.
So
do you know what
Ford.
I was talking about? Ford.
I don't.
Okay.
So my long time ago, Hoss Pratt talked about this, and it's Ford, which is not sure. I'm sure Hoss swiped it from somewhere, so I don't know where it came from. But
Everything's
I use it.
plagiarized.
So,
There's no original thought.
So it is what it is, right? But Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dream. So it's ring, ring, hello. Hey, Tamera, how's your family? Let them talk. Hey, how's work going?
Got it.
Hey, what are you guys doing this weekend?
Okay.
Hey, you guys dreaming of the next vacation? What does that look like?
Hey, you guys, this is a big golden nugget right here because I have never heard of Ford before. Now, these two surprise me quite often and come up with something I've never heard of. But Ford that's a big golden nugget. I think that's a great way because a lot of people call and they're like, hey, just checking in. Mm-hmm. I don't really have anything to say.
Hey, send me a referral. Nobody wants that guy.
Who do you know who's buying or selling a house?
Right. Nobody wants to take
Ford
that guy.
gives you some intentional conversation when you pick up the phone. Right. To your client. So the next time I call you guys, I'm going to say Ford and we're going to go through the
So ultimately,
that's right.
Wait, what's the?
Dreams.
Oh,
dreams.
Dreams.
Okay.
So,
like it could be like, what's your plan or what's your goals for
it doesn't have to be dreams.
What are you guys thinking about doing?
I love Ford.
What's coming up next for you guys?
Okay.
And hey, we were thinking of listing our home and selling it so we could go to Cabo for a month.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be the perfect guy for that.
Yes, you would. I like that. And so because we all experienced a tremendous amount of growth, in the last couple of years, and we talk about it all the time. One of the things, and I have flaws in my business, just like everybody has flaws in their business. And I recognized an issue with trying to retain clients because we were so busy, and we don't ever want anyone to not feel loved or touched on or that we're concerned about them. And so one of the big initiatives that I implemented for this year was a client retention program. And I sat down and I wrote it out, and it's, this is how many times we're going to touch on the client a year. This is what we're going to have, do for our clients this year. And it's a very intentional plan that's also been followed up by, of course, task reminders in our CRM. But, we partner together, me and my escrow team, to make sure that we're staying in front of our clients because we don't want anyone to fall through the cracks. So having that calendar year of intentional touches to your clients, implement Ford, is a huge, it is how you retain a client, right?
Right.
And so, I think it's okay to categorize people by, are they a referral source? How many deals have they done with you? Things like that. And so, because you've got to be careful as you grow your database, that you have enough time to touch everybody. So I have a lot of
touch
synergy.
on that real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say that Leanna touched on, it doesn't matter the size of the database. So we actually have a top 100. Of course, we've sold, 700 plus homes in 20 years that we've been doing this. But ultimately, having a top 100 that I know that they would take my phone call. If I called right now, they would take the call versus getting so bogged down in trying to contact 700 people, I would never even start calling that list. I'd just have like all
analysis paralysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm not using a dialer. I'm using my phone. I'm not calling them from, 866 number. I'm using my cell phone. It's me to them. I call, they don't answer. I just shoot a quick text. Hey, Tamera, I was just reaching out to see how things are going. That's it.
But I think the top 100 is key because you can't be all things to all people, right? And so, and this is a business. So,
exactly.
We have our top client list as well. And, that results in different things for different levels of clients. And that's okay.
Right.
I mean,
and
that is okay.
Put all those people on the newsletter. I'm talking about that.
Oh, yeah. The automated stuff, no big deal, right? All of our clients
Sure.
get all of our class notices and, the marketing pieces that I send out that they can use in their business. And so there is a lot of, there has to be automation and that has to be okay. Okay. But being top of mind with those individuals that really make sure to partner with you and take care of you, they're going to get the big blessings, right?
Of course.
And the big benefits.
And to your point, also, I did want to bring up the fact that, the whole conversation is lifetime value of a client. So last time that you closed a home, there's a company, I always say it, Door, the guy, his whole story, the guy who created Door said that his mom bought a home, the realtor closed on the property, and they never heard from him again. And so it left this.
How many times have we heard this story?
So there's a lot of terminology for that, but I'm going to keep it PG here. And I'm just going to say that ultimately, after a person closes, that's just the beginning. That's not the end.
It is.
We're not asking for referrals at closing. We're basically being there for them through the ups and downs of the next events. We already know what they're about to experience, moving. They're about to move. They're about to be stressed out. We give people gift cards for like pizza because we know you're going to be on the move. Things are packed up. It's easy to get a pizza delivered while you're moving. It just makes things simple.
Or moving, whatever it is that the client is like, whatever area that we can see that they're most stressed about, we come, it's within the intention for us to make sure that they have the absolute smoothest and best and memorable transaction with us so that they can look back and say they really helped us through this. Like, to me, those words and, that thank you to, that appreciation means way more than a commission check. And that's something that we come from. And I think that makes it a huge difference from where we stand with our clients.
But I think it's okay to say that it's going to turn into a commission check because of the heart and the feeling that you guys put into it, right? And so, just kind of thinking through, there was an interesting thing that you said that I wanted to touch on. You're in tune with the struggles that your clients have throughout their year or years or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And so I think while a lot of people rely on a lot more automation than I would for my business, because this is a relationship business and it is important to touch people, sometimes picking up the phone like what you're doing is super important. You're not going to hear that someone's wife is, you might hear about it on social media, but you're going to really affect them if you pick up the phone and call them. I had a client, I was doing a lot of text, happy birthday, because everybody's busy. But I happened to pick up the phone and call this particular client and call them and wish them a happy birthday. And they're like, you're the only person that's picked up the phone today.
Wow.
What?
That's crazy.
And called me for my birthday. You're the only person that has called me for my birthday so far.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. What a place and time that we're in where the Facebook happy birthday and the text message happy birthday, I'm not, of course, like I said, we talk about top clients and how we, interact with people, but I think sometimes taking away that automation and just having that touch with somebody, that human contact with somebody is going to unveil, I combined those two words just now, what some of those pain points are that people are going through in their lives. And that's going to keep you connected with somebody, 100%. If you just send a text, hey, I hope you're having a great day, you would never know.
Right.
They probably would never tell you what's happening.
Exactly.
Not everybody.
Next time someone has call reluctance or reluctance to go through their database and build out that list, just put on a piece of paper, the last closing, for example, 3% of 500 is 15 grand. We all know the math, but multiply that on 3 times. That's 45 grand. So you willing to pick up the phone and call your database to make lifetime value 45,000 for that client? If you don't, another agent like me will.
Love it. I agree. Send it on. Just send it, Steven.
That's it. I'll gladly take it.
Okay, so kind of, and we have kind of talked about the basics and kind of, how you are marketing to your sphere. You did start up your podcast again.
Yes.
Which I think is obviously pretty cool because we're in the same place as your
Real
podcast.
news. Hashtag real news.
But, I really like the fact that, and that is a touch point. Your podcast is 3 minutes.
Yeah, short.
Here's a pain point or a challenge. Here's a solution. Here's what we think.
Yep.
You did the one about our open house is dead. I've watched every single one of them.
Oh, thank you.
You
didn't comment or like.
Yes, you did.
I actually do.
She did.
Knows that I like and comment.
He always says that to his mom because his mom goes, "I saw y'all's pictures," and she goes, "Well, you didn't like them."
No, I actually.
She said, "I do like them."
I think I comment on every single one of the ones that I see, which I think is most of them.
We appreciate your support.
Of course, no. But what I really like about them is because when you kind of look at the analytics of how long somebody watches a video, it's like, well, it's for sure less than 5 minutes, but it's more like 2 to 3 minutes. And so I think what you're able to do in a very short amount of time is position yourself as that real estate expert to the people that do know you and to provide continuous value. So I think I love what you're doing with that. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was the goal.
We used to do live at noon on Fridays, and it was just so much stress, like making all that, putting all that together and having a guest on the show and doing all that stuff. And
I have no idea what you're talking
about. So ultimately, our goal is to provide value and help somebody through their journey, whether they work with us or work with another agent. That's their own decision. But we're going to do our part to provide value and reveal all the pain points that we've went through. I mean, personally, buying, fixing, and flipping over 100 homes, you think that we haven't experienced the same problems that a would-be seller or a buyer is going to experience? Hello. I mean, we've done it. We've done it not only 100 plus times, but also in our own personal homes. When we went to move out of our home one time in Grand Prairie, real funny story. We had the movers set up at 8 a.m. My brother was actually there to help me, and I went to the gym one last time because I was going to work out and then help them move. But so I get there and I hit the garage remote. I'm rolling in the driveway. They're all standing in the driveway. It's like 8 a.m. I hit the garage remote. Nothing happens. I'm like, what's going on? Well, we had turned off the utilities that day because we were moving out.
Uh-oh.
Well, they turned off the utilities, all right, at 8 a.m.
Uh-oh.
So now I had to pay for a locksmith because Leanna had already went to Dallas and to work. So, I mean, it's those things that you don't see that on HGTV. You know, the reality is you want to give yourself a buffer, get moved out, and then close the utilities, or set them up 3 days after you're planned to move out.
Yeah.
What if it rains? What if now you're going through that whole headache of the utilities? I'm hung up on utilities today. I'm not sure why, but
no,
but
I understand what you're talking about. Every time
I
buy a house, I forget, because it's a rental. I'm not living there. I forget to turn on the water and the electric. Contractors are showing up and they're like, "Hey, we have no power." I'm like, "Yeah, no, you don't."
You didn't bring your generator?
So I think a checklist all of these things that nobody thinks about is a really good marketing piece for you guys.
We used to have one a long time ago. Yeah, in our office, it was on the back of the file. So in new home sales, we had these big 18 by 11 folders, and I still use those sometimes. Actually, I built one yesterday. It was kind of fun. Just going back to the old school, because I'm so way back, in 05, 06, 07, all those days. We would have paper contracts and fill them out on the tailgate of the truck and take them to the office, and they had to be time stamped. There was a place where you turned in contracts. They had to be stamped within 3 days of being executed, right? So it was just back in the day, and we'd have to build those folders. And inside the folders that we would do for our flips, which they would start out just, 12 pages or 8 pages. Back then it was an 8-page contract. So 8 pages. By the time it was done with the receipts and everything, it's like 4 inches.
Yeah, of course.
But on the inside of that was a checklist of utilities.
Okay.
And so we did have that checklist back then. Maybe it's time we roll one of those out, get the old Word document working again.
Yeah, and I kind of you and I have had of course I'm asking a bunch of questions I already know the answer to because we work together, but our audience doesn't know the answer to the question. But we've had some conversations about neighborhood farming, which is kind of I'm shifting a little bit, but I'm not really. And so one of the things, I know you guys have been working in light farms, trying to do a lot of farming in light farms. And I live just north of you guys in Glen Crossing. Yeah. And there really hasn't been, we've seen the turnover. Even though I'm in new construction, people are still sticking that sign in the yard. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I work for a title company and I'm not closing any of these deals and I live in this neighborhood. And so we kind of had that conversation about how to kind of come up with a really effective farming program for our backyards, because I feel like, and this is the dumbest thing ever, and I'm about to expose myself, but, I've worked in real estate for 13 years, and I've never marketed to my backyard. Yeah. I've literally driven 45 minutes across the Metroplex to go somewhere else to market. But, so this is kind of the first time that I've really kind of come in and said, okay, well, what do we need to be doing in Salina as Salina grows? And so we're working on a neighborhood referral guide that's kind of along those lines, where there's common threads of, services that people use in the neighborhood. Right. And every time somebody moves in, they post on the Facebook page in our group, can someone recommend a lawn treatment service? Can someone recommend a cleaning person? Can someone recommend a final walkthrough inspector?
Daily.
Same list.
Daily.
Same list.
Same thing all the time. We're putting together a referral guide. Simply because I'm tired of seeing those things.
Exactly. We know exactly what you're talking about.
That's funny.
But what do do you want to share? Once I put that together, I think I want to share the template with you guys because I think it would be something to help position you guys as a better expert in light farms and some of those marketing pieces. Right. We're working with the HOA reps in the neighborhood to kind of position, some more exposure for during events and stuff like that. Right. And so you guys are doing stuff in light farms, I know, because I help you do it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. But the Nook is a great location for...
Yeah, the Nook is an awesome place, restaurant. So as far as how your question is how you geo-farming back to your neighborhood.
How are you guys doing that right now?
Ultimately, there's air, land, and sea, right? Military. Unfortunately, the
can't wait to see where this goes.
I mean, you're seeing it in Ukraine, unfortunately, right now in real life, in real time. But
I'll cry if we keep talking about
that. As far as real estate goes, where would air be? Right, that would be. So you have air, land, and sea. That's how the military is going to take over something, right? Mm-hmm. So we feel through being. Your number one problem that any business has is obscurity. Nobody knows who you are, right? So if you want to combat obscurity and be known, then you want to put your name in as many places as possible. Okay, so take that a step deeper. So you want to hit them with mail, you want to hit them with email, you want to hit them with mass text and a slide dial. So kind of a hybrid between that database. We're not going to hit our database with the same stuff we're going after new business. So,
sure.
And we're not 100%.
It won't work the same,
right? We're not 100% referral business to where we're only working with past clients. No, that's part of our business. That's only part of it. And then we're going to go after buyers. We're going to go after listings, obviously. And I do want to back up real quick on database because this audience is a lot of real estate agents and lenders, right? So with this being our peeps, right? So if we would all do our job and go back to our database and ask those people what's their plan for the next 5 years for their home, they looking to refinance, they looking to sell their home. Obviously, I'm a licensed lender, but you have your own preferred lender. How cool would that be if you called them with an opportunity and say, look, Bob's trying to cash out refi, give them a call. Here's their information. Do a little hybrid between your databases and see where that lender can leverage some of their contacts to you for people that need to sell their home. Now, I'm not talking referral agreements, none of that. I'm saying just hey, law of reciprocation. You give to them, naturally they want to give back to you. So if everybody in our sphere of real estate community would go back to your database, there's 5 to 10 listings just sitting there waiting for you right now. If you would do your part, we do our part, everybody does our part. Voila, Tamera's got more inventory coming into Lawyer's Title. Little LT. We're going to spill the tea over here. So if you want to keep it real, you want everybody to do their job, and we would create our own inventory and stop going to Open Door, all these iBuyer stuff that nobody likes to deal with. It's kind of like a short sale back in the 07, 08 days, and I don't even want to go into that. That'll make me more.
You're getting fired?
Yeah. so I'll just say that ultimately there's business right there. So instead of going after the unknown, go after the known people in your own backyard that already know, like, and trust you. And then
that's an extension of that's part of your sphere.
Yeah.
You know?
So neighborhood prospecting. I'm a fan of Every Door Direct versus doing a few mailers to 100 most likely. Look, no algorithm, no AI can tell you who's really going to sell. So stop being lazy and just do the work. Send out the mass mailer to all of them. Hey, let your competition know. It doesn't matter. They're not going to work with you, obviously, but it puts your competition on the defense. And so you want to always come from a position of offense and be the one passing the ball, not the one trying to protect it and all scared and like, oh, I don't want them to know. Just go all in and commit. So send them a text, send them an email, send them the Every Door Direct mail. And over time, farming is a long game. Your database will pay you tomorrow.
No,
but farming
for sure.
is a long game.
And it is. And you guys have done some neighborhood.
I'll cool off on that.
No, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
He gets fired up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the other day there was 3 listings in McKinney. All of them were owned by OfferPad. And that was $500,000 to $750,000. I was looking for this client. I called our broker and I'm like, why don't we do a database class and let's all do our part? And basically the class didn't happen. He's doing his own thing. Chris, awesome guy. He's got his own stuff. He's running a brokerage.
Yeah.
We're over here doing our thing in our neighborhood, right? Yeah. So we'll keep our lane, and
iBuyers is a whole different podcast.
Well, I'm just saying that between 500 to 750, you think out of what? How many realtors are in Collin County? What are they, like 30? 100,000?
Yeah, 60s. There's like 65 in the
65,000 realtors, and we got
something like
3 homes active.
Yeah,
really,
it's a lot.
That's your database.
Well,
3 out of 65,000 people, with at least 100 people on every agent. So 65,000 times 100 people on your database. What is that, like 65 million or something like that?
Big.
So that's 65 million leads.
I'm not doing the math right now.
65 million leads, and you're telling me all we can get is 3 listings? Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
he takes it personally.
I know. He's really fired up right now. I hesitate to say anything.
No, but also there was one more thing that I kind of keep thinking about to mention, but getting the basics. Okay, so like your website, your social media platforms, and we actually recently have had a company, social media company that had come in and connected all of our social media platforms.
Did they come in and do an audit for your social media platforms, which I think is really cool?
Yep, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook page, YouTube. We're starting to get that going little by little. It takes time. That's why we're like, we finally just gave up and, throw in a towel and say, hey, we need help. We need somebody to come in and get this done for us. So the way that it's being done, that it's done set correctly, because we all know that we are getting more and more relocations, into this area. So we actually get calls now that everything is set up with Google My Business. We get calls, we think, out of the blue, that people are from California, all different places in the States are calling us. We don't question them how they found us. We just know that we are somewhere on the platforms, and whether it's the Remax International, whether it's Google, we have placed the geo tags and all this other, set of verbiage of things that are in place that I'm not an expert in, and I'm not going to claim to be, but it is now in place that we actually we get calls now instead of us going after these relocation leads, because we have those systems in place.
And I think that's a really, and it's unfortunate to me in my mind that this is a golden nugget, but it really is, because I had to start going through my Facebook friends. And so the way that I do that is I go through the birthdays every day. And I look at each person because it's easy to do. There's 5, 10 birthdays a day. It doesn't take me long to go through and figure out who these people are. And I cannot tell you how many times I have to dig deep, and I only go so deep, into somebody's Facebook page to find out that they're a realtor. Mm-hmm. It's not on their workplace. It's not in their background on their cover photo. They don't post anything real estate related. There's some link embedded in their about page that sends somebody to their web page, and that's it. And I said, so the secret realtor thing makes no sense to me. Okay, the secret business person, salesperson, entrepreneur, anything doesn't make sense to me.
Secret agent.
So I think that that's one thing to do is shore up your social media, because you want to make sure that people know who you are, what you do, and that needs to be extremely clear.
Yes,
very clear.
Okay,
very clear.
So I think that's a great place to kind of wrap up for today. Let's leave them with that golden nugget. Go. Awesome. Could you please go tell people you're a realtor on your Facebook page?
Or don't do that. Just leave it the way it is.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with Steven because I like it when my competitors don't do things too. So I'm
leave
with
it
you there,
all confusing.
So I'm trying.
And don't call your database.
Don't call your database.
It's a scary place.
Thank you again, you guys, for joining me on the show today. It's been a pleasure to not only just see you guys, but have you participate in the conversation today. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spilling the LT. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede. And again, if you love my content, you're going to love my escrow team. So I hope you'll give us an opportunity to earn your business. You can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. Make sure you go in, like, subscribe, comment, share, post, and let's do a video today, people. Make it a great day.